If you constantly fail in maths, even if you study, then this is the video for you. I'm Astrid NELVITA, the maths mentor with over 10 years of experience, and I'm going to share with you some of the things that I tell my students to guarantee a pass in their exams. Before you go into the examination room, make sure you have all of your gear. Do you have multiple working pens, pencils, pencil sharpener, erasers, ruler, a working calculator if you need to get the batteries replaced? Make sure they are replaced before the test, and a protractor and a compass if you need them. Go in prepared. When you get your reading time, which is about 5 to 10 minutes, a lot of people would start reading from the beginning of the exam paper, but I want you to start from the back of the exam paper. Start reading the back, difficult questions. You don't have to fully understand it, just skim through it. Don't even bother looking at the first page, and I want you to focus your efforts on the last few pages. This is just so you know what's coming up and how to allocate your time while doing the exam. The examiner says you may now begin, and a flurry of page flippings and mad scribbles happen all around you, but you are going to stay calm. Again, a lot of people are going to start from the beginning of the exam paper, but I want you to start from the back. So the questions you just read, start doing them. If you have any ideas, jot them down. You don't have to finish them, you just have to get a running start. And when you get stuck, go to the second last question and repeat. And do this until you start to get a little bit tired and a bit overwhelmed with the work. Then I want you to take a break by going to the front of the paper and start doing the easy questions so your brain can have a little bit of a rest for a few minutes. While you're doing the easy questions, you will suddenly get an idea of how to do those difficult questions that you didn't get a chance to finish. Now, when you get those light bulb moments, I want you to immediately go to that question and try out the idea. When you get stuck again, then you go back to the easy questions and you go back and forth throughout the entire exam, and you should be able to finish the exam on time or even sooner. The number one mistake that I see my students do over the last 10 years is not answering the question. Make sure you read the questions multiple times and really understand what they're asking for. I suggest you read them at least 2 to 3 times even before you start attempting the question. And when you think you have finished the question, read it again. I've heard all sorts of excuses from my students trying to avoid this next tip, which is to write out every single line in your working. I assure you that you are not wasting time by writing out every single line. No matter how many times my students argue with me, they always end up proving me right. Writing out every single line in your working not only reduces the amount of mistakes that you make, but believe it or not, it will actually save you time and sanity. Your working should be neat and tidy. When you draw, make it large enough so that the labels are clearly marked. Use descriptions, ending sentences, and all of your equal signs should line up. That way, you will always know where you are up to when you come back to the question and be able to pick up where you left off without too much trouble. This next tip is the one that I wish I had learned much sooner when I was at school. It's a small mistake, but it does add up substantially. And when you get your test back, you're going to kick yourself for not writing it. And that is writing units in your answers. If you're talking about lengths, areas, volume, finance, weight, speed, or anything that includes a unit, please write those units down in your answers. And if you're doing indefinite integrals, don't forget those plus C's. A lot of students stress when they cannot fully finish answering questions. I'm here to tell you that it's okay not to finish questions. It is much worse to not attempt it in the first place, because if you don't attempt it, that's an automatic 0. If you do at least some work, you may get 1 or 2 marks out of it, and that could be the difference between a fail and a pass. So attempt every question. You finished the exam, but there's still time left on the clock. That means you have not finished the exam yet. First, you need to make sure that you haven't skipped any questions. To do this, see if you can match the answer to the corresponding question for every single question that's in the exam. Then, you want to go back to those questions that you weren't sure whether you got right or wrong, and try and do them again differently with a different method. If you get the same answer, then that's a good sign. But if you don't, then you might want to look into it further. I wish you good luck in your exam. I specialize in elevating students who are on the brink of giving up on maths to the top of their class, making maths seem like the easiest thing in the world for them. To see if you qualify to be my student, please go to my website in the description below. Alternatively, you may subscribe to this YouTube channel for more helpful hints.